Well, hello and welcome to the 30. This is Patrick. Glad to have you here on another week. Today, as in last week, we are going to be talking specifically about mental health as we focus on mental health and mental health awareness for this month of May. I have a good friend of mine, and she's going to be talking about specifically how do we support those that are struggling with mental health. And we're going to just get into it. And I hope from this you will have taken away some information that if you are one that struggles with mental health and mental illness, that she's going to give you some thoughts and ideas, as well as talking about some resources that are available to you. So let's go ahead and get this party started, and we will be right back with some more information on mental health. Hey, welcome to the 30. This is Patrick once again, and today we are going to be talking specifically about supporting those that may be struggling with mental health as we look and spread light on mental health during this Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode of the 30. Episode 96. I can't believe it's 96 episodes that we've had for the 30. If you would like to share this broadcast, we invite you to do so. If you want to get in contact with me, you can simply drop me a message in groupllc.com. That is info@jackmangroup.llc.com. In coming weeks, we will have some more wonderful guests as we look and as we discuss mental health. Today, I am going to be talking with Deb Turner, and Deb is a program manager. I hope, Deb, that I give you the right title of program manager. Maybe you have a bigger title, but welcome to the 30 once again. I think this is your second time here. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell our guests, who is Deb and where does Deb work and what does Deb do?
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Deborah Turner. I'm the program director at 211 Lifeline. I oversee pretty much everything to do with the program, from fiscal responsibilities to staffing to performance to new opportunities and growth, building relationships with stakeholders. I run a 24/7, 365 program. If you don't know, 211 Lifeline is a 24/7 hotline where people can call and get emotional support, mental health support. Maybe someone you know or yourself are going through some struggles and need to talk and need to get connected to a resource. We have staff 24/7 to help answer those calls. We also do information referral for human services. So we house a comprehensive database of agencies who provide pretty much any kind of resource that you're looking for. We also manage a website that's free for people to use. It's 211lifeline.org. And it's available and free to the public. You can browse all of our different directories. You can browse the different resources in your area, which is always helpful. A big thing about supporting your mental health is knowing what supports or resources that you have around you if you do need something more.
So Deb, you mentioned that you work for 211 Lifeline.
Mhm.
Is 211, is it a local to Rochester and Monroe County, or is it a national helpline?
That's a great question. So, 211 Lifeline is actually a mission program of Goodwill, the Finger Lakes. Apologies, I didn't say that right out of the gate.
That's okay.
um, So 211 overall is a national program. 211 Lifeline, we serve 6 different counties. We serve Monroe, Wayne, Seneca, Cayuga, Livingston, and Ontario counties. We serve a portion of the Finger Lakes region. But we also do crisis services for that area as well.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And as it relates to mental health, what are some of the services that 211 Lifeline offers? Is it just an inbound call center? What are some of the things that those that are on the other line can be helping those individuals that are calling in?
Yeah, so we have inbound volume coming in. We also do chat and text in addition to the phone calls. And we also do outbound calls. So sometimes family members call us because they're not sure how to have a conversation with their loved one about mental health or things they're noticing or seeing. We do outbound call requests all the time just to call and check in on people and see how they're doing. Our biggest thing at 211 Lifeline is really following a harm reduction model. So our goal is that if someone is seeking support because they're having thoughts of suicide, that we're not gonna send police out. We're gonna want to understand the situation, understand how to support them, come up with a good safety plan, and offer other resources that match the level of crisis they're in. For example, we actually help deploy mobile crisis teams. So it's a very cool program. There's multiple ones. There's through the University of Rochester. The city of Rochester also has a crisis team as well called PIC, where we can assess and figure out. Do you have a team in your area? Can we do an intake for you? Can we send someone out to help have a conversation with you? One of the biggest bonuses of utilizing something like a mobile crisis team is they want to blend in. They don't want to come with all sirens blaring. They want to come and blend into the environment, plain street clothing, and just check in and see how you're doing and offer other connections and resources.
Wow, that sounds fantastic, Deb. How long has this been in place?
I have been here 10 years, and it's been during that entire time. We've
Okay.
always done mobile crisis team intakes. I believe the program itself, I want to say, is about 15, 16 years old. We're actually expanding. We're continuing to add more teams and more intakes so we can be able to send out teams and try not to put the person in crisis to have to make the call themselves. That if there's a way or a connection we have to advocate on behalf of someone who's struggling, that's the approach we're going to take.
Awesome. And what are some of the calls, Deb, that 211 Lifeline receives?
Oh, we get so many. So during the pandemic, we had calls for folks, especially in the very beginning, who were just anxious because we just really didn't know much about the coronavirus, the impacts, where to find testing, where to find the vaccine. That we had a bunch of COVID resources available. We did intakes for what's called the EPI project, which is helping folks who have rental arrears because they got behind. They lost their job, they cut hours, other expenses came up. So we did intakes for quite a while, but we had a lot of people reaching out in need of basic needs like food, housing, shelter, medical care, COVID testing. And in the space of the mental health calls, a lot of people in the beginning didn't necessarily call about mental health in the beginning, but we're noticing more and more people calling because I think just like I have been personally processing the impacts of the pandemic, the isolation, the stress, the struggle, um, that a lot of people are processing that and realizing like maybe I need some help with this, that I need someone to talk to and to get connected to a counselor or a therapist to help support me in the long term. We also get a lot of what's referred to as a third-party call. So it could be family member, friends, case managers who are looking for support for a loved one or a friend. So it's really a wide variety. I think what I love about our program is that we really try to be that one-stop shop, because mental health and basic needs, they coexist. And it's hard to, you can't really untangle them. So the fact that our program can offer some solutions in both those spaces, I think contributes to a holistic approach to serving someone.
That's awesome. Deb, some of the questions that may come up will be, how is it funded? I think that's an important piece, right? Because we know it's been around, you said, for a long time. It's part of Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. But how is it funded to take care of all of demands, especially through the pandemic in the last 2 years?
That's a great question. So we do have multiple funding sources. But the truth is, when you run a 24/7 operation like ours, where you need to staff up quickly, the funding that we get from contracts isn't always enough. And so all of the proceeds from the Goodwill, the Finger Lakes stores, so like the retail stores, when people shop or donate, that helps meet our deficit, because we have deficit costs here with this program. There's just no way not to. So it's really a mix of, we have some state funding, some federal funding, we have some contract funding, but a big piece of it, we also have United Way funding, but a big piece of it is the stores and how the stores funding contributes to supporting everything we need when we need to change, or, we need to hire more, that those funds really meet up our deficit.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So those of you out there, if you want to give to help fund Lifeline, 211 Lifeline, and you don't have to be in Rochester or Monroe County to give. You could be across the country, across the world. If you would like to give to this worthy cause, I'm sure Deb and her team will not turn it away. Deb, where can someone go if they wanted to donate or give to this program?
Yeah, so they can actually go right on our website at 211lifeline.org. And when they select the option ways to give, there's a way there if they want to give monetarily, if they want to volunteer. But no figure is too big or too small to support our program. We are incredibly grateful for if someone gives us $2 or someone gives us $211, that those dollars will be put to good use to continue to bring in more staff and more capacity to meet the needs and demands.
And how many persons are actually staffing the phones right now? And what is the goal going forward?
Oh, that's a good question. So we have about 60 team members. Before the pandemic, we had 32. So we doubled our staffing. The goal is to continue to increase it. We are going to be one of those centers that answers 988 calls. And if you don't know what 988 is, it's pretty much an easy dialing access number that's going to be available to everyone nationwide in July. But it's meant to be an easy to remember phone number. So being one of those centers, we're looking at hiring more team members. We're looking at potentially 15 new team members just to contribute to that line and those volumes that we anticipate coming in.
It's funny because when you sent me a text, I sent you a text earlier, and you sent me a text saying that you were on 988 calls. I'm like, what? So I had no idea what 988 was. So it's good. So tell us again, what is 988 and what is the purpose of it?
Yeah, so 988 is connected with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So the 1-800-273-TALK number. Just like 211, the purpose is to have an easy to remember dialing access number, not another 800 number, not a brand new phone number that somehow somewhere has to be advertised and remembered. But the government issued this important change that 988 should be reserved for individuals who are having behavioral health crises. So it's supposed to be an easy to remember phone number. Folks can also chat and text through that number as well. But it's housed through the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great, Deb. So again, when is that going to be up and operational?
It should be up and operational by July 16th.
So anyone that's in need of help, wherever they are in the United States, can dial that number, and it goes to either your organization, your call center. Are there other centers that's involved or connected to 988?
Yes, I believe there's about 10 centers serving New York State. I only know the
Okay.
figures with New York State. um, but yeah, it's pretty much this collaborative with all local crisis centers to get us the funding we need to staff up. Unfortunately, being in crisis work, getting funding to sustain it is always a
Mhm.
challenge. And so, I'm very impressed with New York State that it seems like they're really stepping up, contributing and funding, so we can staff up, we can hire people, we can pay people a decent wage to do this really difficult work.
Deb, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing all that you do. I know you're very passionate about this as we acknowledge and we focus on this very important topic of mental health and mental illness. What are some of the strategies that one can take if they're having a crisis in terms of getting the help? What can they do?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is talking to someone you trust.
Hmm.
If you have a loved one, a friend, a connection that you feel like you can talk to and open up about, I think having that personal connection is also really important. But also, whether you do or you don't, you can dial 211 and, we can talk you through, what's going on, how can we help, how can we support. If you're not comfortable with that, you can search our website at 211lifeline.org and just kind of see what resources are in your area for yourself. Some people are very much more comfortable with self-navigating. And, if you're a person who's uncomfortable with a phone call, you can text us at 898-211, or you can chat us right through our website at 211lifeline.org.
Great, Deb. That's wonderful information. Is there anything else that we know that we need to know about Lifeline, 211 Lifeline and 988 that's coming on pretty soon?
Yeah, I think there's been a big shift in all different sectors and areas of mental health that is taking suicide prevention more seriously than they did
Mhm.
before. Um, that the evidence that New York State has given us funding to support and staff up, that's a big deal. That's not something that happens very easily within state or government entities. That we really appreciate that support. We appreciate that all the support we've been getting, even from providers, around the effort and how it's just going to open up all these doors to have people reach out. But I think the biggest thing is that it's for everyone, whether you're going through a depressive cycle, or you're having an anxiety attack, or you're having thoughts of suicide, that whatever spectrum you feel like you're on in your crisis that's unique to yourself, that you can reach out and we can talk about that.
Awesome. Deb. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. I know you've been at this for a while, and this is a passion of yours. Well, just not a passion, it's a life purpose of yours. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you and your team and everyone at Goodwill of the Finger Lakes. Thank you all for everything that you do for our community and beyond. Deb, any last words for our viewers or listeners?
I think what I would leave everyone with is be encouraged if someone reaches out to you and opens up and tells you they're having a hard time. That means that you're a blessing in that person's life, that you're trusted, and having that level of vulnerability takes immense courage, whether it's someone talking to you about it or yourself expressing what you're going through. That takes immense courage, and that's something that also, should be honored and recognized in just the efforts of crisis lines. That reaching out takes an immense amount of willpower to do, and so to encourage people to do that, I think it's just a badge of honor.
Yeah, great. Deb Turner, as usual, thank you so very much. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. I just continue doing what you're doing. Again, if you want to give to Goodwill or 211 Lifeline, you can just go to the website. And if you have anything to give, whether it's $1 or $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, this is a worthy cause in terms of our community helping others in their time of need. We all know someone that has struggled and continue to struggle with mental health and mental illness, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, someone we know has been touched in some way. We have been touched in some way in terms of mental health and mental illness. So as we continue to do this throughout this month, if you have any ideas or thoughts as to what program, or if you have any guests that we can bring on over the next couple of weeks, just continue, send me an email, send me a message, and then I'll reach out to them. Deb, thank you. If someone wants to contact you again one more time, how can they contact you and reach out to you?
Yeah, they can dial 211. They can text 898-211, or they can chat with us through 211lifeline.org.
All right. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. We'll
You
chat
too.
soon, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. So I've been talking with Deb Turner with 211 Lifeline. Again, if you are dealing with any crisis that relates to mental health or mental illness, make sure that you speak to someone, speak to a professional so that you get the help that you need. It's a very important time during this country and the world, and we all are dealing with something. But make sure that you reach out, make sure that you touch base so that you can be here to celebrate this wonderful year and years to come. Well, that's about it. I want to thank you for being here. Another episode of the 30. As you can see, I'm remote today, but hey, we got to get this job done. So thank you. Make sure that you spread the word to 30s on each week. I am Patrick. I'm your host, and we will see you next week as we continue to discuss mental health and as we move into mental health awareness. Thank you. Have a good night. May God bless you and your family. We'll see you then. Deuces.